Hey everybody, welcome to HIT.OR.DIE podcast, episode 37. We got another pro guy today from small school Dinuba High School. Dylan Lee went to COS and also played at Fresno State and was drafted out of Fresno State. He's with the Miami Marlins. Got to AAA, and hopefully this year might get a little taste of the bigs. He's on his way. So for now, let's get it back into some of that. I don't know. We had guys come out yesterday. They had their...
Well, we recorded Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
And we put the show out, I think it was Thursday or Friday. I don't remember. But the day after we put out or recorded, they fired Cora, or they parted ways, sorry.
Yeah, it's fired.
And then I think a Thursday or a couple days later, the Mets part ways with Beltran. And you see that Twitter account of supposedly his niece,
Fake
burner account. I mean,
it's burner. There's no way anybody would do that to their family.
A niece. How does a niece have access to the locker?
Right?
Like kids even probably have. They have a hard time getting your kids into a locker room. Maybe
No,
sometimes.
and when they do show with their families, they're mainly out on the field after the game. They're not in the locker room where there's alcohol and booze and stuff like that. It's just that for people even thinking that's real is beyond me, or the fact that Reddick's confetti picture with the necklace, and like his wife had to even send out a picture of him wearing the necklace with their two kids. And it's just, if you're that naive to even think, first of all, that he would forget to take it off if it was true, and to sit there with it on there and think that's tape across his chest, where you can blatantly see the necklace go around his neck.
Well, I can tell you, my wife saw it. Okay, and she's not into baseball at all, but she was in the assumption that was what it was. It was tape. That was a wire. And then we broke it down. I was like, no, go look at it again and tell me if it looks like confetti. And then go look at, there's another picture that actually shows right around his neck up here on the right side where it actually clasps together.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, now that you say confetti, it looks exactly like confetti. But she, from a blind eye, thought, oh, yeah, there's something to this.
Blind eye meaning somebody that doesn't know baseball.
Yeah, she's not invested either way either.
So it kind of sounds like all these people out there that think they know everything about baseball, or they're just sad that their team, lost in the World Series, and they got to try to make every excuse possible to think that they should deserve it or get it taken away. Which brings me to the fact that there was never anything about the postseason.
Well, so in the report, it says they were decoding in the postseason. There's no mention of how it was transmitted during the game. Like how did they get, if they were doing it, it doesn't tell you how they were getting it to the hitters.
Yeah.
And it could have been the old fashioned way. It could have been second base, flashing a sign, something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does say that there was decoding going on.
And again, the whistling and the trash can, I mean.
Yeah, but the whistling, so I told you, there's a video that people keep posting of Maeda. And if you watch the video, the whistling stops and Maeda is still looking in for the sign and nods and then comes set after the whistling done.
Yeah.
So I just didn't line up for me.
Well, plus, if you listen closely, now, if you know my father, he can whistle with the best of them and almost whistle identically the same whistle. But that whistle sound is the same whistle every single time.
It's got that little long part towards the end.
And I don't care how good of a whistler you are.
To decipher that from, however many 50,000 people in that stadium.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can easily edit a video like some of these guys out there.
I mean, the fact is that it came out. They cheated,
I'm not
right?
saying
the camera thing's been admitted to. The trash can thing's been admitted to.
And then somebody said that they had 3 cameras. Like,
well, I don't know anything about that.
What's his name? Broke 2 of them, and they kept replacing it.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. I saw.
Where was that at?
I don't know. I don't remember. And then you had Altuve, the other one, the big one, and it looks bad. It looks really bad that he didn't want his jersey ripped off.
Could be a religious thing.
You see the indentation or whatever on his jersey.
Could be wearing cut off sleeves.
But even at that, there's no proof. It's all circumstantial. Yeah. Now, but being accused and, found guilty, you have to ask the question. Like you have to talk about it. You have to You got to be curious to if that's true or not true. I don't believe it. And Bregman,
he was kind of pissed about the question.
Yeah, well,
said,
out of the answers he gave, he said that was when he answered. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And so there's still rumblings out there of they should vacate the title.
Not gonna happen.
If players aren't going to get suspended, you're not vacating the title.
No.
And as I've talked to actually a couple Dodger fans since the episode came out, and like they're lifelong Dodger fans.
Yeah.
And they flat out told me, like, no, we don't want that. Like, either way, we didn't earn it. Whether they cheated or not during the World Series.
Your friends that are Dodger fans might know baseball a little better.
They do.
Than the ones that I've talked to.
Yeah, they're passionate guys.
The ones I've talked to, haven't played past Little League, and they're like off with their heads and, this and that. And, but I put stats out there the other day.
Yeah, the splits aren't there.
The splits are ridiculous.
Not for the World Series, anyways. Altuve, everything's on Altuve, and I was like, well, he hit
still batted 194.
Yeah, with a home,
6 hits.
Yeah, and
they played 2 or 3 games at
Turner. Turner had better splits.
Yeah,
did he cheat? No, I don't. And let's say
but you had to win 6 and 7, and those were both in L.A.
Yes, and you can't score. Scoring 1 run's not enough.
No, and on paper, the Astros are still one of the best teams in the league.
Yes.
It's not like I'm sorry to use this for the Oakland A's fans. It's not like Oakland A's just came out of nowhere and started winning, went to a World Series and won, and they're a bad team. You have a good team, a great team with a lot of all-stars, and whether this is true or not, which I guess is true, but if they need it or don't need it, they're still going to be a good team and good players. They got an advantage. It is what it is. I think, it shouldn't have happened, but hopefully more comes out, because I know there's more teams that have to be doing it. Because if you're a team,
why would you be dumb not to?
Why would you do it knowing that guys leave for trades, guys leave for free agency, guys get released? If you're doing something that could bite you in the ass, why would you do that? If anybody else isn't doing it, that's what I mean.
I don't know if there's any rules in the game that prohibit you from doing this. Now that we've talked about it, like, what are the rules against using what are the penalties? This is all new.
Yeah. So
the next guys that are coming, 2019. So the Astros have to be getting investigated for something on their person having
sure.
they're going to look into that. This was just for 2017. Now, I've heard some other teams come out or on the radar, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear a lot more, just because if somebody else is doing it, you can't just sit back and let it go.
You're not going to be the only team that does something.
So why wouldn't you try to get an edge?
Because you wouldn't risk.
And then I heard some stuff on fires. Jessica Mendoza, and like him being a whistleblower, and he shouldn't have gone public. And maybe his intentions weren't for it to get this far. But when you're with a team that's in the same division in the A's, and you're 4 games back with 2 weeks to go, 3 weeks to go. And if you got a series with Houston, well, yeah, you're going to say something to your guys.
Yeah, but I don't think you go as far as what he did. I think, and this is just because I don't want the game to get out of hand and people just hate the game of baseball. You know what I mean? You love the game of baseball. I love the game of baseball. This is bad for baseball, but he easily could have been like, look, if we hear anything that sounds like, they're really good at picking signs, decoding, whatever, just keep it that way and not go into all the details of, and I get it's hard to do that, but there's bro code in baseball. And I know people out there are like, oh, bro code did, no, there is. And sorry for the ones that are sticking up for fears or whatever, fires, you don't do that stuff. And that's the way I feel. And that's just because.
Yeah, but if he had a guilty conscience, because you don't know what.
You have a ring on your finger.
Yeah, I know. We don't know why. People are speculating to why.
You have a World Series ring. You got paid almost $1 million in postseason money.
Yeah, but until he comes out and says, this is why I said it, we're putting words in the guy's mouth.
No,
and that's not
I'm
fair
not trying
either.
to do that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to say, there's different ways he could have went about it if he's trying to win for Oakland. And it just didn't have to get this far and get this blown up and blown out of proportion. And I really would just like people and it's not going to happen because people are the way they are. Just sit back and relax and watch what happens and see how far it goes and see what happens. And the funny thing is they put, they had that judge thing posted. I posted on our Twitter, and I put the arms up like, maybe. But then I was like, this is what's wrong with the media. Is that was just a video that was actually sped up. We don't even know how long he was looking at. He wasn't.
Do we know where
he might not even been looking at the camera?
Was that in dugout?
That was in the dugout
of the playoffs. We know that for a fact.
No, I don't know.
That could be just random game during the season.
But he was looking at a piece of paper.
Right.
It wasn't like a video camera or an iPad, or he was looking at a piece of paper, which is probably, and it had two pictures. And the way I can see it, and what I, being a baseball player, I can only imagine it's probably the pitcher they're facing and release points. So he can pick something up. That's what that is. And it is the picture and video, it's going to get blown out of proportion. Like, here's the Yankees, here's this, here's that. And I'm not saying the Yankees do or don't do anything. I'm just saying here's a video that gets blown out of proportion for, he's probably just looking at something simple that everybody does. Everybody has pictures of the release points and pitches. This is what he looks like on a curveball. This is what he looks like on a fastball. That's what all that technology's for, and hot zones and all that kind of stuff. That's what he was looking at. So,
yeah,
I mean,
I think some things are going to need to be changed. And
the media just needs to stay away.
Well, you got to cover it. You got to get the people informed, and you got to get the people the truth, because I think Rob Manfred is trying to protect the game a little bit right now on even other teams that may be guilty. But
no, it's better to have everything all out on the table at once than just down the line.
Yeah. Well, we maybe we can get into this with Dylan just a little bit. Maybe no. Yeah, probably
he's
not.
too close to the big leagues.
Yeah.
We don't want him to get any part of this.
Yeah, no. But we'll keep touching on this. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back with Miami Marlins organization pitcher Dylan Lee.